Hi, I'm Darren Miles with Darren Miles Photography here at beautiful sunny Naples, Florida. You know, there must be something in the water at Sigma headquarters in Fukushima, Japan, because aside from the occasional gem here and there, Sigma had not been previously known as a high-quality premium lens producer. That is, until now. Ever since Sigma launched their Global Vision Initiative, or GVI, there's been a sea change in cameradom. Sigma has turned into the lens manufacturing equivalent of Hyundai, a company that long produced value-oriented but inferior products at really low prices. Well, then Hyundai came out with the Genesis, and then they came out with Equus, and now they're right up there alongside Lexus and Mercedes, and justifiably so. Well, that same kind of revolution seems to have overtaken Sigma, as the lenses they're producing today are not only built better than the competition, they're also optically superior, less expensive, and to cap it off, Sigma is on the leading edge of innovation. Talk about an amazing transition. Well, arguably, their most ambitious innovation since the GVI was launched is this bad boy right here. Oh yeah. In my hand is the fantastic and brand new 18 to 35mm f1.8. You heard that right, f1.8. Not only is Sigma producing lenses with superior build and fantastic optical quality, they're also making things the camera world has never seen before. Oh, and the price? Well, that's a little bit surprising too. We're going to spend the next 5 or 10 minutes to check out the latest innovation, courtesy of Sigma. They said it couldn't be done, but we're looking at the world's first f1.8 zoom lens. Built for APS-C size cameras like the 7D, the XXD, and Rebel series in Canon, and the D7000, 7100, D300, etc. in Nikon. The 18 to 35 will not work in a full-frame camera, so the 5D, 1DX, D800, D4, etc. need not apply. For me personally, this lens alone has breathed new life into my 7D and has upgraded it from something that used to sit in my camera bag to something that I'll use on a regular basis. But how much of a game changer is the 18 to 35 f1.8 really? Well, we're going to spend the next 5 or 10 minutes to find out. First up is build quality. And let me just say, it's a beautiful lens. It's built like a tank, and it comes in at just under 2 pounds, which makes it feel really substantial. The lens balances well on a 7D, but the combination is definitely on the heavy side. The 18 to 35 has Sigma's new GVI styling, which is clean and sharp, with a smooth matte finish, and the new A for art designation. The focus and zoom rings, in my opinion, are perfectly dampened, and both are rubberized with quality materials. They just scream of quality. The zoom ring also has hard stops, so you know when you've reached the 18 and 35mm limits. The autofocus and manual focus switch no longer feels bargain basement either, as it snaps into place with authority. And the 18 to 35 comes with a lens hood. It's a really nice lens hood too. It's made out of a nice plastic, and has a quality feel. It also has a nice snug fit because it snaps right into place. On the inside, there's 17 elements in 12 groups, and there are 9 rounded aperture blades for smooth bokeh rendering. Finally, the filter thread is 72mm. On the downside, the lens is not weather sealed, nor does it have image stabilization. And sadly, it's only made for APS-C sensor size cameras and not full frame cameras. But those nits aside, all in, it's nothing short of brilliant. For build, it's nearly perfect, and we're going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. So up next is focus speed and accuracy. The 18 to 35 has Sigma's latest generation of hypersonic motor, which is reassuringly quick, though still a wee bit slower than a Canon ultrasonic. But given the relatively wide field of view, the focus speed is more than adequate for nearly all situations. Now, I've read some reports online, I think it was at DP Review, that talk about how the Sigma hunts a little bit in low light. Now, I've only used it on a 7D and I've only used it for a few days, but I can say that my experience has been very consistent with the reports that I've read. The focus is mostly accurate, but I wouldn't call it perfect. In fact, I may even go as far as to say that it's a bit inconsistent, which frankly is a shame, because when it locks focus accurately, the Sigma is sharp as a knife optically. But it's one thing to tell you about the focus speed and accuracy. It's probably better if I just demo it for you real quick. I'm going to set this to the minimum focus distance, and I'm going to focus on something far away. And here we go. All right, you hear that beep? That was pretty fast. All right, now I'm going to set it to infinity focus, and I'm going to focus on this, which is really close. And here we go. And you hear that? Didn't barely hunt it at all. It's bang, it's pretty quick. Now, once again, it's more than adequate for nearly all situations. The lens also has some value as a macro lens, given the minimum focus distance is only 11 inches. All in, it's a decent, if not slightly flawed performance. We're going to give the Sigma 18-35 a 7.5 out of 10 for focus speed and accuracy. So up next is optical quality and the quality of the results. Let's not mince words here. The Sigma is nothing short of stunning. That is when the focus is accurate, which fortunately happens often enough. It's much more consistent than my Sigma 50mm f1.4, and if you haven't seen my review on that lens, you can check it out on my channel. Maybe you can check it out after this. In my mind, I also see huge potential in this lens for video shooters, as the focus and zoom rings are really well dampened, extremely smooth, and really buttery. On the downside, there's noticeable vignetting at f1.8. Fortunately, most photo software programs handle that really well, like with the lens profiles in Lightroom 5. Flare and chromatic aberration are also extremely well controlled, especially at wide apertures. That said, as with all of my reviews, it's one thing to talk about optical quality, it's another thing to just show you optical quality. The next minute or so is going to be a series of stills and brief video clips showcasing the optical prowess of the 18-35 f1.8 from Sigma. And the Sigma can be nothing short of dazzling. So last up is value. How do you put a price tag on something the camera world has never seen before? You would figure a zoom lens with a constant f1.8 aperture would carry a premium price tag. Amazingly, the Sigma does not. Don't get me wrong, it's by no means a cheap lens, but I can't be the only one that thought the $799 price tag was considerably less than what they were expecting. I mostly shoot full frame, and my 7D, which had previously been sitting in my camera bag collecting dust for like the last year, well, it's just been given a new dose of vitality pumped into its 4-year-old body. Thank you, Sigma. The only negatives we could come up with were the lens is not weather sealed, there's no image stabilization, it's not for full frame, and admittedly the focal range is a bit on the limiting side. But those things aside, the Sigma has amazing build, superior optical quality, a constant f1.8 aperture, and all for just $799. The Sigma is not only one of a kind, but for value, it's a grand slam, easily surpassing my already heightened expectations. For value, the Sigma hits it way out of the park and easily earns a 10 out of 10. Okay, well, it's that time again. Time to draw some conclusions about the 18-35 f1.8 from Sigma. In a nutshell, the build quality. It's first rate. The Sigma is built with amazing precision and high quality materials. It has smooth and well dampened focus and zoom rings. It's really weighty, coming in at just under 2 pounds, and it reeks of quality. On the downside, there's no stabilization, it's not for full frame, it's not weather sealed, and the focal range is a bit limiting. But those nits aside, we still gave the build a 9.5 out of 10. Focus speed and accuracy. As we discussed, it's not flawless, but it's good enough, as it hits focus accurately most of the time. But there are just enough misses, specifically in low light where all lenses tend to struggle, to raise some eyebrows. The misses are still often usable photos, but they're a bit soft. When the focus hits dead on, it cuts like a razor. It is sharp. But there are just enough misses to give me pause. So for focus speed and accuracy, the Sigma is about a 7.5 out of 10. Optical quality and the quality of the results. I could heap superlative after superlative on this lens for its optical goodness. Sigma should be commended for brilliant optical performance. Negatives? Well, it vignettes a lot at f1.8, but really that's about it. We gave the Sigma a 9.5 out of 10 for both optical quality and the quality of the results. Value. When you bring to market something as challenging to engineer as an f1.8 zoom lens, then expectations for a quality product will automatically be a bit suspect. Sigma has taken the camera world by storm the last year and a half with some well-built, optically superior and innovative lenses. The 18-35 f1.8 encompasses all three of those aspects, and for a very reasonable price, especially for what you get. For value, the Sigma just nails it. It's easily a 10 out of 10. Overall, the Sigma gets a 45.5 out of 50 and earns our highly recommended rating. The final word. As you can probably tell, I'm more than a bit enamored with the 18-35, and for good reason. There's nothing else quite like it in the marketplace today. And not only that, it succeeds at being something that no one else has even tried to produce in a mass production lens. And for that alone, Sigma should really be commended. This is the kind of lens that Canon and Nikon should be attempting to make for their crop sensor cameras. I've long said that Canon should consider making an L-type lens, specifically designed for crop sensor bodies. Well, it's good to know that at least one third-party manufacturer is listening to the needs of photographers and giving them the products that they crave. Congratulations, Sigma. It's a job well done. This is Darren Miles with Darren Miles Photography here in beautiful sunny Naples, Florida. If you like these videos that I've been producing, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, happy shooting.